Any questions?
Who made the
How
engine?
can they be similar? Because there's no manufacturing overlap, is there?
Well, these are really bizarre cars. The bodies came from France. I'm pretty sure they came from France. There's a plate on there somewhere. And the engines came from Austin. No, England. Manufacturer, Austin. Yep.
Okay.
They are, this thing is just an absolute joy to drive. It's a really neat car to drive.
I've driven them. I've never owned one, but I have driven them.
Yeah, they're pretty neat little cars.
I fit in.
They are tiny.
I fit in.
Yeah, well, actually, that's one of the things the owner asked me. She's not a big lady, and she asked me, she says, when I'm in the car, I'm looking at the steering wheel. I'm not looking under it, I'm not looking over it, I'm looking at it. And she said, I want to be able to see out, so I have to take the seat out, and I'm going to put it on stanchions and raise it up an inch for her.
Just 1 inch?
Yep, that's all she'll need. She won't need much. If we want much more than that, her head would be in the headliner.
I told Pete I went to go look at one, and I came home with a 72 Eldorado.
Yeah, they're neat little cars with the emphasis on little. There's stuff on there that probably swaps with golf carts.
Yeah.
Hey, they're tiny little cars.
They look fun.
Oh, yeah.
They are. They're fun. Now, the problem with these, since we're talking about it, I didn't mean for this to go off the rails per se, but let's, it's up here and we can discuss. I try to do this because we're sharing information that way. Okay, so this is a unit body car. That means the body and the frame are all one piece. And if you look at this carefully, this is a frame rail right here. And then there's these outrigger frame rails that are supposed to hold the body up. And if you look carefully at this one, because it came out of Washington, these were prone to rusting. And if you look at this frame rail right here, it's rusted. So there's a lot of rust on this car. Back in these areas, this is more of a drive it and enjoy it sort of car as opposed to a perfect version. All of this that was a jack point, and of course that's failed.
Oh, okay. That's why it's crooked. All right.
Yep, and that's a jack point, and that's failed. And these two are okay still. And then these are the center jacking points for balance jacking it. And then somebody's tried to jack it up from here, and you can see it buggered up the cross member.
What happened here?
I don't know. Somebody hit something with it at a pretty good clip.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of bent. But it came in here for a myriad of issues. The thing that I worked on today was reestablishing, this uses a hydraulic clutch, and somebody put new cylinders on, new masters, but the slave had not been touched, so it was leaking profusely, and now it doesn't leak anymore. So that's been no dollar fix. This was just cleaned up with a brake cylinder hone and made sure that everything was clean and that the seal was clean, and just reassembled it, and it's fine.
Same rubber inside?
Yep. Wow. Yeah, the rubber was still pliant. Yes.
Okay.
Is this grease actually brake fluid, or is that something else?
That is transmission fluid, and it is leaking from.
Yeah?
No, it's higher than that. It's higher than that. It's actually leaking from the linkages over here and here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And possibly from here as well.
And
too.
what is that on these two?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Little knobs?
It's your basic 3-speed transmission, column shift. So those could be, I don't think those are shift rails. Well, they could be. No, I don't know what they are. No idea. Anyway, I'll probably check the fluid level in the transmission and the rear end while it's up on the rack here. And I'm working also, the exhaust system was very noisy. So
Yeah,
I have to
wonder why.
fabricate a new, a technical thing, a do-jobber. I've got to fabricate a new clamp for the manifold and pipe.
Do they
Wait.
drive this quite often?
No.
Are they going to with all that rust?
It's not a problem. It really isn't a huge problem with this. This is your primary frame member right here.
Right.
This is an outrigger. It's not going to have a huge impact on the structural integrity of the car. It's not good. It could be better, but I've seen worse. Far from perfect, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun. Muffler's tiny. You really want tiny. Look at the actual tailpipe itself.
He's so little.
What year is it, Chuck?
1959.
Okay. Probably in the 50s.
Yep, this one's 59.
59.
59.
When you say it was from Washington, you expected it to be there for rusty. Is that really coastal Washington? Because isn't inside of the Cascades or the range is that desert and actually a good place to buy a car from?
It is. It is. Generally speaking, though, there's only like 7 people that live in the desert.
Oh, okay.
There is a movement afoot to have Eastern Washington secede and become part of Idaho. And we're talking about 2/3 of the state of Oregon leaving, wanting to be part of Idaho. In landmass, it's 2/3. In population, it's less than 10%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've never been there, so I don't know what it looks like.
Well, that's Oregon. I'm sorry, I said which Oregon and Washington. When you go to the east, it's all very dry. It's desert basically.
Yeah.
But it's once you get over the Cascades, it's very wet. So this car was driven in a wet environment, and they were very prone to rusting. In Michigan, when I was a kid, these things, they wouldn't have this at all. This would be gone. And they'd have rust. This would be all rusted. There'd be a big honking hole here. They would have been rusted.
You! Andre!
I
Sorry.
just want you to know, look about the same. Thanks. You're welcome.
It's like,
Huh? What? Okay, thanks. All right, let's get back to work.
Back to
I wanna
business.
Flip this thing around.